Have you taken the IELTS multiple times without success? Are you 2, 1, or even just half a band away from what the NMC or GMC require in order to give you your PIN or license to practice? Then stop, take a breath, and let us help. You see, here at IELTS Medical, we've given doctors and nurses the tools they need to pass the academic version of the IELTS exam as efficiently as possible. Whether you've reached above 7.0 in 3 sub-tests, but can't seem to crack IELTS writing, whether it's IELTS reading that's the thorn in your side, it's okay, we're here for you. Learn more at ieltsmedical.co.uk.
It's finally here, guys. Prior to 28th, that's today as I'm filming this video, I have heard so many stories from so many other places, but I had not seen it from NMC yet. Personally, I had not seen it on their website or anywhere else, so I didn't want to come and give you anything, until I see it on their website. So I've been waiting on their website for a while, and then still there was no update. Okay, I kept seeing that same thing that will update after 28 September, blah blah blah. So I decided to go on their Twitter page, and it's currently 7 p.m. as I'm filming this. It's currently 7 p.m. I don't know if you can see. When you go on the NMC Twitter page, let me just head over now. They posted it at 15:58 hours. That's like 3:58 p.m. So like that's around 4 p.m. Okay, so that's about 3 hours ago, and I'm filming this now. So this is the latest they've posted regarding the English language update or the IELTS or the OET update. Okay. So let me just go over now. Okay, so they said that on 18th September 2022, our council approved the changes to our English language requirements outlined below. So on this date, they approved the changes outlined below, and I'll be reading those changes to you shortly. Okay. And according to the NMC, with all the public consultations that they've had in the past, this particular public consultation is the one that had the most number of participants. They had about 34,000 responses, and it's a record breaking. Like, they haven't had such a number respond to a public consultations like yet. So that means we really did well with the public consultation. So now this is what they are proposing. They said that most people who responded to our consultation agreed with our protocols overall. There was a strong agreement that a high level of English language proficiency is critical for effective communication between professionals and the safety of those they care for. Currently, most people from outside the UK who apply to join our register take one of our 2 English language tests, that's either the IELTS or the OET. Testing will remain the main focus of our English language requirements in the future, and we are also proposing to make some changes. So they said taking a test will still be there, as a main way to prove your English proficiency, but they are going to make some changes. After careful consideration, the consultation responses, firstly, we proposing to 1. Standardize the minimum scores we accept when combining test scores, and extend the period for combining test scores from 6 to 12 months. Some people marginally miss the test score needed to join our register. This proposal will allow a bit more flexibility for people who need to resit a test while maintaining the high standard of English language proficiency that the public has a right to expect. And then they're also saying that sometimes some people miss the required mark marginally. Let's say they were supposed to get like 6.5 and then they had 6. So that's just like a margin difference of 0.5, like a difference. They're going to be a bit more flexible. But on their Twitter page, they did not really state exactly how flexible they are going to go. Are they going to accept 6? Are they going to accept? From what I'm reading, they did not go into details. So I know that this is just like an overview of the changes that they came about with. So they are going to publish it on their English language guidance on their website when they finally come out with everything. Normally on the NMC website, they actually give examples. So they'll give example of, let's say, if they will accept a 6, they'll explain to detail, so that way we'll be able to understand this perfectly. Okay, so they are saying that for those who are combining 2 test results, whether you're combining 2 IELTS results or 2 OET results, this whole time you couldn't combine 2 test results unless you sat for both in a span of like 6 months of each other. If you sat for one in January and you're sitting for the next one in August, that's like more than 6 months interval. You cannot combine those 2 results. But now they are saying they're going to be a bit more flexible. Instead of the 6 months, they're extending it to 12 months. Okay, so if you wrote in January and then the other one was in December, you can still combine those 2 results. Secondly, we are proposing to enable employers to provide supporting evidence of English language proficiency. They said, we plan to accept supporting evidence where an applicant has 1. Trained in English in a country where English is not a majority spoken language, or narrowly missed passing the English language test. This proposal will allow employers to provide objective information and evidence to us about someone's use of English in a health and social setting in the UK, including evidence from interactions with people who use services. This proposal will provide greater flexibility for people who are already contributing to the health and social care in the UK without affecting the high standard of English language skills needed to deliver safe, kind, and effective care. So the second thing is that now they are going to accept supporting evidence, okay? Supporting evidence from employers stating that, oh, this person can effectively communicate in English. And that could be a supporting evidence for their proof of English proficiency. But they are only going to accept this from people who trained in English in a country where English is not the majority spoken language in or they are going to accept this as supporting evidence from people who narrowly or marginally missed the required score, the required band score. But they are only going to accept this from UK employers, people who are already contributing to the UK's health and social care. So with this second one, what they are saying is that they are going to accept supporting evidence from employers, you know, to state that, oh, this employee is actually proficient in English and can communicate effectively in English, okay? But they are only going to accept that as a supporting evidence. So that's not going to be like the main evidence to prove your English proficiency. It's going to be like a supporting evidence. And they're only going to accept this from people that either narrowly missed the required mark that they were supposed to get for the IELTS. Let's say they were supposed to get like, let's say 7, but they had 6.5. It's just an example. They haven't stated that example in their statement, okay? Maybe you narrowly missed the required mark, okay? Then they can let you add a supporting evidence from your employer stating that this person can effectively communicate in English. I've witnessed him, you know, communicating in English and is able to communicate perfectly. But they are only going to accept this from people that are already contributing to the UK's health and social care. So this will best suit people that are in the UK already working as care assistants because they could not pass the IELTS or the OET score and they decided to come. You see why you should have come. Now you have worked in the UK for a while and you have a UK employer. Your manager has seen that she can talk. She does her documentation in English. She can do this. Now they are stating that maybe you marginally missed the required IELTS score, but you were trained in English. Your nursing was done in English. But your country, English is not the majority spoken language. It's okay. Now, this second proposal is saying that they are going to accept evidence from your UK employer that, oh, she can effectively communicate in English. She's okay. Her documentation is perfect. Their patients don't have issue understanding what she's saying. So now they can accept that. But one, you should have trained in English. It doesn't matter whether your country is considered English-speaking country or not. So far as you were trained in English, and then maybe you marginally missed the IELTS, okay? If you have a UK employer willing to give you supporting evidence, they will accept that. We also consulted on whether to accept postgraduate qualifications taught and examined in English as supporting evidence. While there were similar levels of support for this proposal, the consultation raised some issues for us to consider further. Given the variety of postgraduate courses, these issues are more complex to address, so we are not making a recommendation on this to council at this point. We will do more work to decide whether it will be feasible and beneficial, and will return to council with a recommendation at a later date. Another thing that they looked at was whether to accept a postgraduate qualification that was taught in English, because some people have masters already and they were thinking whether they should accept that as a proof of English proficiency. But they said that because there are a variety of postgraduate courses, it will be very difficult to say that, let's say, if you did a postgraduate course in this particular field, that means you are proficient in English. It will be very difficult to accept that. They haven't decided on anything yet, but they will return at a later date with their findings. So now, It's only 2 things that they've said. Let me go over again. The first thing is that now if you're combining 2 test results, they are going to be a bit more flexible. You don't necessarily have to have sat them in 6 months. Now if you sat for them within a span of 12 months, they are going to accept it. I'm doing this video quickly because people are just asking me, DMing me, commenting on under my videos that they want an update on 28 because I promised on 28. So when they finally update their English language guidance for international applicants, they usually give more details. So they'll give examples and we also understand this better. But this is what they are doing. So for those that are already in the UK and then working in the health and social care sector, if you marginally miss the required score in the IELTS or the OET and you did your nursing training in English, whether you are from an English speaking country or not, they can let your employer, UK employer, give evidence that, oh, she can actually communicate in English and that will be accepted. So that is all, guys. I don't see any reduction in the IELTS score here. I don't see any reduction in the OET score here. They did not do that. If that is what you were waiting for, I'm very sorry. I haven't seen that yet. People that are going to benefit from this are those who came as care assistants, the nurses who came as care assistants, because now their employer will see that she can actually speak English, and so many employers will be willing to provide supporting evidence to the NMC for this. So those are the people that are going to benefit, because this supporting evidence from your employer, they are not taking it from employers in Nigeria or employers in your country. They are taking it from employers in the UK. So this will only benefit those that are already in the UK working as care assistants. Or I don't see any change in the IELTS or the OET requirements here. I haven't seen anything yet. They haven't officially updated their English language guidance on their website. Immediately they do that and they give the detailed explanation. I would come back to give the detailed explanation of everything that they've said. So far this is it. If you were expecting something more than this and now you're heartbroken, I'm sorry. Okay, but we all were, but it looked like. That's why I said that with the 34,000 people, don't forget that people in the UK were also going to take part and they were also going to say their mind. They were also going to say, no, don't reduce it. So this is what came about. This is what the NMC is saying. Thank you for watching. Bye. Before I forget, the NMC initially said they will start implementing changes in October 2022. Now they are saying they will start implementing from January 2023, subject to approval. The next steps: subject to council approval, we plan to prepare for implementation for the proposed changes from January 2023. NMC, why? You said October 2022 and I have a screenshot of it. Now it's January 2023.